Okay, so let's get started at for the frequency community call. Thank you for coming. As you can see, this is for the June 18th community call. I want to talk about some upcoming features for frequency. Um, we've got a release candidate coming now that has or a couple of things. We mostly low technical stuff, but we've upgraded the REST toolchain. We are now up to the Polkadot SDK version stable 2503, and then there are a lot of fixes here in addition. Other than that, not a whole bunch going on for right now, but look for that coming up soon. And next, we also have, sort of as a side note, we have Parquet.js is a new release, and that release has entirely contributions by outside contributors, so I think that's great. Thank you all, and Gabe Gorelik is our newest contributor. Made a couple of really nice touches on just some nice technical touches there. We have option flag to treat int96 as a timestamp. That's the big feature, and then a couple of quality improvements from our new contributor Gabe. So thank you very much. And so next, oh my goodness, some community updates. There from. We want to show the mainnet activity. Frequency metrics, we are very close to almost 2 million new user activations and almost 1 million graph activations, which is really exciting to me. I almost can't believe like these numbers here. So thanks to everyone. And some new releases for Gateway. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. This new release, a lot of improvements to content publishing and logging, some package updates. We have our one of our new team members at Emre Sermeli. We've got some improvements to content publishing to improve stability, particularly in the content publishing arena. Got some other stuff going on, improving logging. Added Pinot for logging instead of the Nest.js. Native log, some bug fixes, improvements to documentations, including one by an outside contributor, which is great. And also some miscellaneous stuff that's just like updating dependencies and whatnot. In case you didn't know, this is a Nest.js project. It's some microservices. Gateway is our package that is intended for app builders to get started and to simplify interactions with frequency blockchain. So if you can build a Web 2 app, if you can use Gateway, you can build a frequency app. Okay, so sign in with frequency Ethereum key support is coming. Our team has been hard at work building support for signing in using only Ethereum wallet keys. This has been a requirement for a few months now, and it's very exciting. So it's in the works. Should be coming out next release or the following. Frequency team members will be at ETHCC and the Web3 Summit in July. So if you are going to be there, please look for one of us. And so now I would like to open up for any questions or comments. We've got a couple of items for discussion. Schema v2. First of all, we've been discussing how to improve schemas. So we have, for schemas, we have a protocol namespace. We'll just rehash because we've got some community notes here. So we'll rehash the protocol namespace, the actual schema itself. So for example, DSMP and frequency are two different namespaces, and the schema version. And then we have delegations to schemas are at the schema version level, and the rest of the levels are structure. Protocol authors cannot upgrade independent of a new schema version and asking each user to improve every single time an individual schema is updated. So the ideas have been like, how can we protect from bad schema upgrades? How can users not be bothered by schema upgrades that have only structural differences? How can the delegation model be improved or changed to handle a multi-layer schema structure? How can the interaction model with schemas be unified and simplified? So we've got some community call notes from March, and then some implementation notes. And so far, there's not been a lot of discussion after this. Unless somebody wants to add has some additional thoughts, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next one. So we have a provider context design doc here. So we want to store provider context on chain, which would allow a provider to have more than one application, and some things like that help you identify a provider, like a logo and a name in multiple languages. This is based on a request for a design doc for this. So we've got a bunch of input on this that's been addressed. Let's see. Basically, this outlines the actual context and how we think it should look. So the proposal is to set up some storage, a provider registry entry struct, application registry entry, provider registry entry, and then there's a flow diagram for how this gets updated or added. So we've got some open questions of like whether we want to do a set or edit pattern. Are there separate calls for adding or updating applications in translation? So if there's anything anybody wants to say about this right now, please don't hesitate to put your question in the chat. Otherwise, just head over to the frequency chain repo and choose the discussion tag. And you can, we mentioned many times, this is an open source repo. Input is welcome, not only just here in the community call, but also in our repo. So I'll move on to this new design doc for schemas, protocols, and intents with delegation. So in the current implementation, schemas are registered with immutable numeric identifiers, which we call a schema ID. We have a bunch of different things that this schema data discusses, such as the format, whether it's on or off chain storage. And then the IDs themselves are what is used to refer to the schema by clients, those interfacing with frequency and other runtime modules like on the chain, particularly in the delegation system. So, excuse me. So right now, users can be authorized. They set up a delegation that authorizes a provider to use a collection of schemas with particular permissions, but that is completely about a schema ID, and this is given some limitations. So essentially, it doesn't let you easily upgrade without. And we talked about this earlier. I mentioned this earlier. It doesn't let you easily upgrade the schema, because every user then has to go through and theoretically have to go through and approve the new schema version, because they only authorized a very specific one. The schemas themselves represent a format and not a purpose. They're not human readable. There's no context that tells you what these schemas are for or like how they're going to be used. And then there's the workflows problem, and how do we know who the publisher of this schema is and whether they're legitimate? So now this design doc introduces this idea of named schema protocols with version tracking, some kind of structured publishing under namespaces, intent-based delegation, and then improvements to the APIs and the storage models here. So this is a draft, as it's noted here. This contains, and you know, the design docs are primarily just a link on the design doc README, and then the actual proposal. So here, so we've as a normal with our design docs, we've got this layout here. So we've got several this proposal to introduce for addressing these issues. I don't want to spend a bunch of time going over all of the details here, but this is introducing the concept of protocols and protocol ownership, and introduces a structure, talks about ownership and protocol of our ownership and control of the protocols, and governance, ideas about governance, security boundaries, like who owns what protocol / namespace. bsky.profile is controlled by Blue Sky. dsmp.broadcast is owned by the DSMP team. And then some ideas about being able to publish to a protocol namespace only with permission, you know, some kind of permissioned public publishing rules. Then we need to talk about, like, how does this change the delegation structure, and so that users know a bit more about what they're delegating to a provider, what they're permitting a provider to actually be doing, and what that actually means on a more human readable level. And then this section about intent registration and delegation models. So if anyone has any thoughts on this, please pipe up and put your questions and comments in the chat. Otherwise, you are completely welcome to take some time to read through this proposed design doc and make your comments on the draft proposal. So I will point out here, like, again, if you want to reach these these discussion items, you go to the frequency chain, you can click discussion, and not label planning. There we go. So this is the newest one, or this is one of them. All right, there. Okay, so I think that's it for today. If there are any questions that cropped up, anything, okay. Well, I guess we'll call it an end to this frequency community call. I thank you for joining, and I hope to see you next time.